All right, welcome. Today we're tackling a challenge that, let's be honest, a lot of businesses run into. How do you take a physical space that's fine and turn it into something that actually works for you? We're going to explore how a really cool blend of AI and human design is making it possible to turn that vision into reality. So let's just jump right in with a question I want you to think about, especially if you're a business owner or a manager. Is your space holding your business back? I know it's a tough question, but it's a really important one. You know the feeling, a tired-looking office, a waiting room that's just confusing, or a cafe that's kind of bland. All of those things, they have a real, measurable impact on your business. And that really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? It's just, it's hard to picture how a space could look and work better. You're stuck with what you've got. And that uncertainty, that I don't know where to start feeling, it leads to delays, to indecision, and you end up missing out on huge opportunities to make things better for your customers or your own team. But what if you could actually see the possibilities? What if you could bridge that gap between what is and what could be, and do it quickly and without breaking the bank? Well, that's where this new approach comes in, one that combines the speed of AI with real human expertise.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. You've probably seen some of those purely AI-generated images, right? They can be a little weird, a bit hit or miss. But the service we're looking at today doesn't just push a button and call it a day. They use what's called a blended approach. That means professional designers actually step in to refine and manually tailor everything, making sure what you get isn't just some generic computer-generated picture.
So what does this blended approach actually mean in practice? Well, think of it like this. The advanced AI does the heavy lifting, generating the first visual ideas at lightning speed. But then, and this is the key part, real professional designers take over. They're the ones who carefully refine it, who edit it, who add that human touch, taste, good judgment, and that all-important quality control. This makes sure the final concepts are actually realistic and genuinely useful for you. And you're probably thinking, okay, that sounds expensive. But the starting point for this is actually surprisingly accessible. We're talking just £15 to get the ball rolling. So for that £15, what do you get? You get 3 tailored image concepts, all based on the style you've picked out. Now, it's super important to know these aren't technical blueprints or anything like that. Think of them as powerful concept guides. Their whole job is to help you see the possibilities, to kickstart your planning process, and ultimately to help you make decisions with a lot more confidence. Okay, so that's the theory. But theory is one thing, right? Let's see how this actually works in the real world. We're going to walk through 5 different types of business spaces and see how they can be completely reimagined using this approach. First up, healthcare waiting rooms. Ugh, we've all been there, right? The big challenge is they just so often feel cold, sterile, and kind of confusing to navigate. And that kind of environment, it can actually make patients feel more anxious before they've even seen the doctor. So how do you fix that? Well, this is where the visual concepts come in. You could see options for warm but still easy to clean materials. You could test out different calming color palettes. You could even map out a clearer, more intuitive path from the front door to the reception desk. And you could play with ideas for better privacy and acoustics, all before you spend a dime on actual renovations. All right, number 2, hotel receptions. That first impression is absolutely everything. If a guest walks into a dated lobby, it just fails to create that special sense of arrival. It can really set a negative tone for their entire stay. So what's the solution? With these visuals, you can start to imagine a much stronger entryway. You can see what it would look like to have softer, more welcoming clusters of seating. You could explore adding little touches of local character. You can even visualize how different lighting could work, shifting from a bright professional feel during the day to a warm, cozy atmosphere at night. Example number 3, the good old office. let's be real, so many of them are just gray. A sea of lifeless cubicles, uninspired break rooms. And look, this isn't just about it looking boring. That kind of environment can genuinely crush morale and tank productivity. The visual solutions here are all about creating a space that feels more dynamic and actually supports your team. For example, you could use concepts to plan out clear zones for different kinds of work, like a buzzing collaborative area over here and quiet, deep work pods over there. You can see how adding touches of greenery would feel, plan for smart storage that actually works, and even figure out how to subtly weave in your company's brand and colors. Okay, let's talk restaurants and cafes. In this business, the atmosphere is basically part of the product you're selling. The challenge: so many places are just flat. They've got poor lighting, bad acoustics, and they completely fail to create that vibe that makes people want to hang out and, spend money. And what's so cool here is that you can essentially test drive different atmospheres before you commit to any construction. The visuals can let you explore layered lighting, play with a mix of seating types for couples or big groups, see how warm textures would feel, and create a clear focal point, like a really cool feature wall or a stunning bar. This is how you avoid making really, really expensive design mistakes. And for our last example, let's talk retail stores. The biggest problem you see here is often a cluttered look paired with dull, unflattering lighting. It just doesn't do anything to pull customers in off the street, and once they're inside, it doesn't guide them through the store in any meaningful way. So the solutions are all about creating an experience. We're talking about visualizing striking hero displays that immediately grab someone's attention. It's about designing a clear path for customers to follow through the store. You can plan out simple, effective signage. And maybe most importantly, you can figure out that perfect, flattering lighting that makes your products look absolutely irresistible. So, we've seen what this can do for different businesses. Now let's peek behind the curtain a little and look at the how. There are actually 6 core design themes that guide this whole process, giving it a really solid professional structure. And here they are. And I want to stress, this isn't just about making a space look pretty. It's about thinking through, number 1, flow and comfort. 2, telling your story and brand. 3, creating the right atmosphere. 4, making sure the space has flexibility. 5, mastering light and how it affects perception. And finally, number 6, achieving total clarity. It's a whole picture kind of approach. Which brings us to the most important question, right? How do you take a beautiful image on your screen and turn it into a real, tangible impact on your business? This is exactly where that vision turns into real value. These visuals become powerful tools for your business. For one, they help you brief your construction or fit-out teams with total clarity, no more confusion. They let you compare quotes from different contractors with confidence, because everybody is looking at the exact same goal. You can use them to support your marketing materials or property listings. They can even help build confidence with investors, because you're not just selling an idea, you're showing them a tangible vision. And really, this quote just sums it all up perfectly. You can move from uncertainty to clarity in days, not months. It's all about shrinking that timeline and giving you the power to make big decisions with confidence and fast. So, we'll leave you with one final thought to take away from all this. After seeing all of these possibilities, the only question left to ask is, what could your space become?